The phone trembled in my hand as I dialed their number. My chest burned with every breath, pneumonia gripping my lungs like a vice. I was 23, broke, and desperate. The pharmacy tech had just told me my antibiotics would cost $150. My account balance mocked me with its $17 reading. "Mom," I croaked when she answered. "What do you want, Mark?" Her voice dripped with contempt. Not concern. Not worry. Contempt. "I'm really sick. Pneumonia. I just need to borrow $150 for medicine. I'll pay you back next week when..." She cut me off with a laugh. That hollow, cruel laugh I'd heard my entire childhood. "You're pathetic. Always have been, always will be. Your brother never asks us for money." "Mom, I can barely breathe. Don't ever contact us again. We're done enabling your failures." The line went dead. I sat in that CVS parking lot in South Memphis, staring at my phone, feeling something crack inside my chest that had nothing to do with pneumonia. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. A mother walked past with her daughter, holding her hand gently. I wondered what that felt like. My name is Mark Wilson. This is the story of how my parents' cruelty became their greatest regret. But back then, shivering in my beat-up Honda Civic, I had no idea that 5 years later, I'd be running a $50 million empire. And they'd have no clue. Growing up in Orange Mound, Memphis, our house had two kingdoms. Devon's kingdom, my older brother, sparkled with trophies, praise, and unconditional love. Mine existed in shadows, filled with criticism and impossible standards. Devon was 26, a mid-level bank manager making $60,000 a year. To hear our parents tell it, he'd invented currency itself. "Why can't you be more like your brother?" Dad's favorite refrain echoed through my childhood like a curse. Devon got the car for his 16th birthday. I got a lecture about responsibility. Devon's college was fully paid. I took loans that still haunted me. When Devon got a DUI at 21, Dad called it boys being boys. When I came home past curfew once, I was heading down a criminal path. The favoritism wasn't subtle. It was carved into every family dinner, every holiday, every single interaction. Mom would cook Devon's favorite meals. She'd forget what I liked entirely. Dad attended every one of Devon's soccer games. He missed my high school graduation because he had to work. But here's what twisted the knife. Devon wasn't even grateful. He'd smirk at me across the dinner table, basking in their adoration while I drowned in their disappointment. He'd actively sabotage me, then watch as I got blamed. That day in the CVS parking lot, I realized something profound. Their love wasn't real love. It was conditional, transactional, and I'd never meet their conditions. So I stopped trying. I used my last $20 for gas, drove to the free clinic, and waited 6 hours for antibiotics. While I waited, I made a decision that would change everything. 3 months after the phone call, I met James Taylor at a tech meetup in Nashville. I'd driven 90 minutes on fumes, both literally and figuratively. My Honda's gaslight had been on for 20 miles. I was surviving on ramen and ambition, working 3 part-time jobs while teaching myself coding at night. James was pitching an AI-powered customer service platform to a room of skeptical investors. Everyone saw the risks. I saw the potential. During the break, I approached him. "Your pitch is brilliant, but your monetization model is backwards," I said. He raised an eyebrow. "And you are?" "Mark Wilson. Nobody important. But I know sales, and I know struggle. You're targeting enterprise clients who'll take 2 years to close. You need SMB volume with tiered pricing." We talked for 3 hours at a Waffle House. James had the technical genius. I had street smarts and a hunger that came from being called pathetic by the people who should have loved me most. By sunrise, we'd sketched out a business plan on napkins. "I can't pay you," James admitted. "I'm maxed out on credit cards. I don't need payment. I need equity and a shot." We shook hands. James gave me 20% ownership for handling all sales and operations. His parents thought he was crazy trusting some kid from Memphis. My parents didn't know because I'd blocked their numbers. The company was called Streamline AI. We launched from James's garage in Franklin, Tennessee. I moved into a room above a bodega in Nashville, paying $400 monthly in rent. I still never called my family. People romanticize startups. They don't show you the reality. I worked 18-hour days, 7 days a week. My breakfast was gas station coffee. Lunch was whatever I could afford. Dinner was sleep. I'd wake up at 5 a.m., make cold calls until noon, handle operations until midnight, then study our metrics until 3 a.m. Streamline AI's first-year revenue was $12,000. Total. We had 4 clients, all small businesses in Tennessee. James handled product development. I handled everything else. Customer service, accounting, marketing, sales, janitorial services, all me. My hands cramped from typing proposals. My voice went hoarse from sales calls. I lived on 4 hours of sleep and pure spite. Every rejection fueled me. Every closed door made me knock harder on the next one. "Mark, you need to rest," James would say. "I'll rest when we're successful." During this time, Devon got engaged. Mom posted 73 photos on Facebook. "My successful son found his queen," the captions gushed. Dad bought them a down payment on a house in Cordova, Memphis. $25,000, given freely. I'd asked for $150 for medicine and got disowned. I didn't comment. Didn't like. Didn't acknowledge. I was dead to them, so they became dead to me. But I screenshot every post, saved them in a folder labeled Fuel. On hard days, I'd open that folder and remember why I was grinding. The universe rewards persistence. Year 2, we hit $400,000 in revenue. Year 3, $2.3 million. We'd found our rhythm, our market, our purpose. And I'd found something more valuable than their approval, self-belief. Year 4 changed everything. A Fortune 500 company implemented our platform across their entire organization. The contract was worth $8 million annually. Suddenly, everyone wanted Streamline AI. We went from begging for meetings to turning away clients. Our revenue hit $37 million. James and I stood in our new downtown Nashville office, 17 floors up, overlooking the city. We'd just signed the lease. 10,000 square feet of glass and possibilities. "We did it," James whispered, eyes wet. "We're just getting started." We hired aggressively. 20 employees became 50, became 100. I became Chief Operating Officer, handling our entire business strategy. My salary jumped to $200,000, then $400,000, then finally, a package worth $3 million annually when you included equity. At 28 years old, I was a multimillionaire on paper. My 20% stake in Streamline AI was valued at $42 million. But I still drove my Honda Civic. Still lived in a modest apartment. Still remembered what $150 meant. My LinkedIn profile said COO at Streamline AI, but I never posted about our success. No social media updates. No press interviews. James handled all that. I operated in the shadows, exactly how I liked it. Meanwhile, Devon's engagement had imploded. His fiancée caught him cheating. Mom blamed the girl, naturally. She didn't appreciate what she had. The Facebook posts about Devon's perfection never mentioned that part. I saw it all from my carefully curated distance, my blocked accounts and anonymous browsing. I felt nothing. They were strangers now. Rich, successful strangers who happened to share my DNA. 6 months into year 5, Microsoft came knocking. They wanted Streamline AI. The initial offer was $280 million. James and I sat in a conference room with lawyers, accountants, and executives who wore watches worth more than my childhood home. "It's not enough," I said calmly. The Microsoft exec blinked. "I'm sorry. Your enterprise division will integrate our platform across every product line. You'll generate 5 times that value in 3 years. We want $450 million, and we want employment contracts." James kicked me under the table. The room went silent. I'd just rejected more money than most people see in 10 lifetimes. But I knew our worth. More importantly, I knew their desperation. They needed our tech, our team, our momentum. We'll need to discuss this, the exec said stiffly. They came back in 48 hours. $420 million. James and I would stay on for 5 years, running the division as co-presidents. My salary package, $10 million annually. My buyout, $84 million, paid over 3 years for tax purposes. I was 29 years old. I'd gone from pathetic to multimillionaire without my family knowing I existed. We signed the papers in December. The money hit my account in January. My first purchase, I paid off my student loans. All $67,000 of them. Then I sat in my apartment and cried. Not from joy. From grief. For the kid who could have used supportive parents. For the young man who nearly died from pneumonia because he couldn't afford antibiotics. For every moment I'd been called worthless by the people who created me. Running Streamline AI under Microsoft was surreal. I had an assistant now. 3, actually. A driver. A corporate apartment in Seattle. Invitations to galas and charity events. People called me sir and laughed at my mediocre jokes. My annual income approached $15 million when you included bonuses and stock options. I diversified immediately. Bought rental properties in Memphis, Nashville, and Atlanta. Invested in index funds. Purchased a modest 3-bedroom house in a quiet Seattle suburb for $700,000 cash. No mortgage. No debt. Complete security. But I still drove a Toyota. Still bought my own coffee. Still remembered hunger. At work, I was known as the executive who understood struggle. I implemented policies that made employees' lives better. Full health coverage from day one, mental health support, generous parental leave, tuition reimbursement. I wanted no one in my company to ever choose between medicine and money. Mark, you're too generous, the CFO complained. We can afford it. These are people, not resources. My team loved me. Microsoft executives respected me. Industry publications called me a visionary operator. I spoke at conferences about ethical leadership and sustainable growth. My Wikipedia page said I rose from humble beginnings but had no details because I never gave them any. In Memphis, my family's life continued without me. Dad retired from FedEx. Mom joined a book club. Devon bounced between sales jobs, never quite matching the golden narrative they'd built around him. They posted constantly on social media, living for external validation. I watched it all from 30,000 feet, literally and figuratively. Flying first class while they had no idea I existed beyond their memory of a pathetic failure. Year 2 at Microsoft, I became president of our AI division. My compensation package hit $30 million annually. Streamline AI had grown into a $2 billion business unit. I oversaw 4,000 employees across 12 countries. At 31, I was one of the youngest division presidents in Microsoft's history. Forbes estimated my net worth at $120 million. Fortune called me a quiet titan of tech. I declined all interview requests about my personal life. Professionally, I was accessible. Personally, I was a ghost. Then James called with an idea. We should do something in Memphis. Tech hub, workforce development, something meaningful. Why Memphis? Because you're from there, and that city needs opportunities. Plus, the mayor's office reached out. They want Microsoft's partnership. I felt my stomach tighten. Memphis meant proximity to my past. But it also meant opportunity. I could help kids like me, kids from Orange Mound and Fraser and Whitehaven who never got shots because of their zip codes. Okay. Let's do it. We announced the Memphis Tech Initiative, a $50 million investment in workforce training, partnering with local HBCUs, creating 500 jobs over 5 years. The press conference was scheduled at the National Civil Rights Museum. Every dignitary in Memphis would attend. Including, I later learned, my father. He'd gotten appointed to the city's Economic Development Council the previous year. A volunteer position that made him feel important. His name was on the attendee list. I saw it and smiled. Not from warmth. From perfect, calculated irony. "James, I need to attend this one personally," I said. "Really? You hate public events?" "Trust me. This one's important." The National Civil Rights Museum hummed with Memphis's power players. Mayor, city council, business leaders, activists, media. 200 people sipping wine, networking, celebrating Microsoft's investment in the city. I stood backstage in my Tom Ford suit, custom-fitted, worth more than my childhood home's annual property taxes. My assistant approached. "Mr. Wilson, 5 minutes." Through the curtain gap, I spotted them. Front row. Dad wore a suit I recognized, the same one from Devon's college graduation. Mom wore a dress she'd probably found at Dillard's clearance. They looked older, smaller, ordinary. Devon sat beside them, scrolling his phone, bored. He'd gained weight, lost hair. The golden child had tarnished. My heart rate never changed. I'd imagined this moment for years. Rehearsed it. Perfected it. "Ladies and gentlemen," the mayor began. "We're honored to welcome Mark Wilson, president of Microsoft's AI division and architect of the Memphis Tech Initiative." I walked on stage to applause. The lights were bright, but I could see their faces. Confusion. Then recognition. Then shock. "Thank you, Mayor Harris. I'm thrilled to bring opportunity to Memphis. This city shaped me. Orange Mound raised me." I paused, letting that sink in. I learned resilience here. I learned that family isn't blood. Family is who shows up when you're sick and broke and desperate. Mom's hand flew to her mouth. Dad leaned forward, squinting like he couldn't believe his eyes. "The Memphis Tech Initiative will ensure no talented young person is held back by circumstances or zip code. Because I believe in potential, not pedigree. In work ethic, not last names. In people who get knocked down and get back up." The audience roared. My parents sat frozen, their minds clearly racing, calculating, realizing. Their pathetic son was a titan. After the press conference, I was swarmed by admirers. Handshakes, business cards, photo requests. I saw my parents hovering at the crowd's edge, trying to push through. Dad kept saying, "Excuse me, that's my son," to anyone who'd listen. Nobody cared. My head of security, a former Secret Service agent named Patricia, intercepted them. "Mr. Wilson isn't taking meetings. I'm his father." Dad's voice cracked with desperation. Mr. Wilson was very clear about his schedule. I watched this exchange from across the room, sipping water, chatting with the mayor. Mom's face cycled through emotions: shock, confusion, anger, and finally, something that might have been pride if it wasn't so obviously self-serving. Devon tried a different approach. He caught my assistant. "Tell Mark his brother needs to speak with him. It's urgent. Family emergency." Kira, my assistant, was a woman from South Memphis who'd worked 3 jobs before I hired her. She looked at Devon like he was something she'd stepped in. "Mr. Wilson has no family emergencies. He's also not accepting walk-ins." "You don't understand." "I understand perfectly." Kira turned away, done with him. The mayor leaned close to me. "Mark, there are some people claiming to be your family. Should security?" "Let them wait," I said simply. "They're good at that. They've waited this long to acknowledge my existence." An hour later, as I prepared to leave through the back entrance, Patricia approached. "Sir, they're still waiting. The older couple and a man claiming to be your brother. They seem quite distressed." I checked my watch. "Tell them I'll give them 5 minutes. In the conference room. Private. No phones." It was time. They filed into the conference room like defendants entering court. Dad couldn't meet my eyes. Mom's hands shook. Devon tried his usual smirk, but it faltered under my cold stare. I remained standing, hands clasped, projecting the power I'd earned. 5 minutes, I said. "Starting now." "Mark, baby," Mom started. "Mrs. Wilson, I interrupted. You instructed me to never contact you again. I'm honoring your wishes by keeping this brief. Her face crumpled. We didn't know. Didn't know what? That the pathetic son you abandoned might make something of himself? You're right. You didn't know. Because you never asked. Never checked. Never cared. Son, let's not be hasty, Dad began. Mr. Wilson, I corrected. You lost Dad privileges on a September evening 6 years ago when your son called, dying from pneumonia, and you chose silence. Remember that? I do. Vividly. We thought you were manipulating us, Devon interjected. You always were dramatic. I laughed. Actually laughed. Devon, you got a DUI, and Dad paid your lawyer $1,500. You wrecked your car, and he bought you another one. Your wedding deposit, how much did they give you? $20,000? But I was manipulating when I asked for $150 for antibiotics. The room went silent. Here's what's going to happen, I continued. Nothing. We'll have no relationship. You'll tell people your son is successful, and you'll bask in reflected glory you don't deserve. But you won't contact me. You won't claim me. You won't exist in my world. Mark, please, Mom sobbed. My mother died in a CVS parking lot 6 years ago. The woman crying before me is a stranger. I moved toward the door. Patricia will escort you out. Enjoy the buffet on your way. Microsoft paid for it. I'm generous like that. Pathetically generous. I left them there, broken and stunned, and felt absolutely nothing. The next morning, my phone exploded with messages. They'd given my number to relatives, family friends, church members. All strangers to me. All suddenly interested in the pathetic failure who became a multimillionaire. Mark, it's Aunt Denise. So proud of you, baby. Mark, this is Pastor Everett. Your mama told me everything. Let's have lunch. Cause, it's Jamal. Man, we need to link up. Remember when we used to ball? I didn't remember Jamal. I deleted every message. Mom created a Facebook post, my brilliant son Mark, president at Microsoft. Always knew he'd do great things. #proud mom #blessed #my boy. 73 people liked it. The same number who'd liked Devon's engagement announcement. I had my lawyer send a cease and desist letter. If she mentioned me publicly again, I'd pursue legal action for unauthorized use of my name and image. The post disappeared within an hour. Devon tried LinkedIn. Excited to reconnect with my brother Mark Wilson. Family first. I blocked him and had LinkedIn remove the tag for violating my privacy settings. Dad showed up at my Seattle office. Building security stopped him at reception. I flew all the way from Memphis, he pleaded to the guard. Just 10 minutes with my son. The guard called up. I was in a meeting with the Microsoft CEO. Tell the gentleman Mr. Wilson doesn't have a father. Suggest he try therapy for his delusions. Through all this, I felt nothing. No satisfaction. No anger. Just cold, complete indifference. They'd taught me that love was conditional. I'd learned the lesson too well. My therapist asked if I felt vindicated. No, I answered. Vindication implies I needed their approval. I don't. That's the point. Today, I'm 32. My net worth approaches $200 million. Streamline AI's success under Microsoft exceeded everyone's projections. My division generates $4 billion annually. I've been promoted to vice president, making me one of Microsoft's youngest C-suite executives. My annual compensation is $52 million. I bought my childhood home in Orange Mound. Not to live in, to demolish. I'm building a community tech center there, free coding classes, job placement, mentorship. It'll serve 2,000 kids annually. The center's name, the Second Chance Foundation. Because everyone deserves a second chance. Except the people who taught me I wasn't worth a first one. Last week, I established a scholarship fund, $1 million annually for students from broken homes. The application asks one question: tell us about a time someone didn't believe in you, and how you proved them wrong. I read every application personally. I see myself in each one. My parents sent a letter through their lawyer, requesting a family mediation session. I sent back a cashier's check for $150 with a note: here's your medicine money. We're even. Lose my address. Devon tried to leverage our relationship for a job. He applied to Microsoft, listing me as a reference. HR called me laughing. Should we interview him? I said no. People ask if I'm happy. I don't know how to answer. I'm successful. I'm financially secure. I'm respected. But there's a hole where a family should be, and I've filled it with ambition and achievement. Maybe that's enough. Maybe it has to be. Last night, I sat in my home office, overlooking Puget Sound, and thought about that CVS parking lot. That shivering, desperate kid who just needed $150 and couldn't get it from the people who should have given him everything. I don't know if I've won or just survived. But I know this: I'm not pathetic. I never was. They were. If you believe parents should support their children unconditionally, hit that subscribe button. Only people like Mark's parents who think love is transactional won't subscribe. Hit like if you believe everyone deserves basic human decency, and comment family isn't blood if you stand against conditional love. Let's build a community that actually shows up for each other. Don't let the manipulators and the toxic family members win. Subscribe now.